Well, the bus is here, so let's go, Amy said. They got on the bus and greeted the other characters. Happy birthday, Turbo, Mario said. Thanks, Mario, and hi, Peach, Lorando, and Alice, Turbo said. Hey, Mom, do you mind if me and Lorando hang out? Turbo asked. I don't mind if Peach doesn't mind, Amy replied. Of course you boys can hang out, Peach said. You boys run along now and behave yourselves, Sonic said. Then they walked towards the back of the bus and passed by the other characters, wishing Turbo happy birthday. Happy birthday, Turbo, Luigi said. Thanks, Luigi, Daisy, Riccardo, and Gilla. Turbo thanked them. Hey, Turbo, how you doing, man? Tails asked. Doing mighty good, Tails, Turbo replied. Happy birthday, Turbo, Cream said. Thank you, Tails and Cream. How's Cheese? Turbo asked Cream. He's doing pretty good, Cream replied. Ciao! Cheese shouted. Then they went past Yoshi, who had given Turbo a chocolate bar. Hey Turbo, how you doing today, birthday boy? Knuckles asked. Pretty good, Turbo replied. Yoshi gave me a chocolate bar, Turbo continued. That's pretty cool. You and Leonardo behave, Knuckles said. We will, Turbo told Knuckles. They walked until they get towards down the back, not before talking to Shadow, Rouge, Omega, and their daughter Shade. Are you having a pretty good birthday so far? Shadow asked Turbo. Pretty much, Turbo replied. That's good, Rouge said. Shade wanted to give you her old copy of Mario and Sonic Adventures Through the Dead House on your birthday, Omega said. Thanks, Shade, Turbo said in a joy. No problem. I thought you would really love the game, Shade said, as she passed the game to Turbo. Then they sat down. I actually had bought my Switch, so you want to play a two-player game? Leonardo asked. Heck yeah, let's play Smash, Turbo replied. After a few hours later, the bus had crashed and then it cut to another cutscene. Mario and Sonic and the others had woke up from finding out that the bus driver is dead, and Turbo and Leonardo and the other kids are missing. Then it cuts to the main menu, revealing the title, Mario and Sonic on Quiet Hill. Here's a thing labeled information, I said. Maybe it could have some information on who made the game, Jim said. Jim clicks on the labeled information. Warning, this game is not officially licensed by Nintendo or Sega. This is a fan game that parodies the Kamikade video game franchise Silent Hill. But this is only a fan game by Carl Wilson, Jim read out loud. So that's why the former employee from Nintendo said that he had no clue on the Return to the Dead House's existence, I wondered. While me and Jim were in shock, someone in a Jurassic Park shirt walked up to our table. Are you guys talking about both Mario and Sonic Adventures Through the Dead House and Mario and Sonic on Quiet Hill? The person asked. Why, yes, why? I asked. Because I've been reading on this website. It's called Weird Experiences with Media, found on a post by the two games that you've been talking about. He replied, I found your two stories as well as the weird person who had these weird experiences with the Tim Burton movies. Somebody who's been trapped in movies from 4 different decades. Even a person who got a Marvel comic was an exclusive to the Halloween Horror Nights back in 2002, he explained. And I had a weird experience too from that same HHN event, he said. What's HHN? I asked. Halloween Horror Nights. It's an annual Halloween event at Universal Studios. They have haunted houses, Uncle Jim explained to me. But what's your experience? I asked the person. I will gladly explain, but I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Jack, the man introduced himself. My name is Mac, and this is my Uncle Jim. I introduced me and my uncle to him. Then he started explaining that he had gotten a book called Jurassic Park, Extinction from Jurassic Park section of Universal Studios, during the Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios back in 2002. He says that it mainly focused on the JP Extinction storyline from the Halloween event. It starts off with Alan, Grant, and Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm riding a helicopter to the uncharted island, where they're going to that island because someone in the lab in the island was doing all kinds of weird experiments on dinosaurs. While they were flying in the air, 3 Petrodons started attacking the helicopter, and one of them killed the co-pilot. Then one of them killed the other pilot before going on a crash landing, and they managed to survive the crash. They decided to get some shelter for that night, and they would bandage themselves up and get some rest. They would then later gather up all the stuff they need to make some shelter, and then get some sleep, because tomorrow they would be breaking into the lab. The next morning they came by and then started going towards the lab, then almost being run over by a herd of Galmanis, before being found by people with guns. Then they would take them in to see Dr. Burton, and he has confirmed that he was the one making the experiments. But he reveals what kind of experiments that he'd been making with dinosaurs, and he has one of his guards forced to be a volunteer. They beat him down to the ground and then throw him a chamber so they can have to test the experiment on him. The guard in the chamber then begs for his life, and then he bangs on the door, begging to be let out. Dr. Burton would start to explain the experiment before pushing the button, and then there was smoke coming from the chamber, and then the guard went through transformation. Then he turned into a human-dinosaur hybrid. Before Dr. Burton could finish the sentence he was saying, the power went out. Alan then grabbed the flashlight out of his pocket and turned it on, and found Dr. Burton dead on the ground. The hybrid would then jump at them, and they would run. They would run into a room with an open door, and a bunch of human-dinosaur hybrids were running out of the room. They see a bunch of guards being killed by those human-dinosaur hybrids. One of the guards then tells them to get out and says there was a helicopter on top of the building. They ran up until they got to the roof. They would leave for the lab while it was exploding. Ian wondered how the lab exploded, and Alan thought it was one of the guards that tried to kill the human-dinosaur hybrids with explosives. Then it cuts to the end with them flying away from the island. The weird thing was that the actual short story was written by Michael Kulkirchen, even though there was an actual Jurassic Park 3 movie that was terrible, Jack said. Once Jack finished saying all of that, we heard gunshots and screaming for some reason. Me and Uncle Jim then tried to escape from the seafood restaurant, but there was a smoke bomb and we couldn't escape and our ears were ringing. Alright, Tom, let's take these 3 and put them in the car. We got some people to do our experiments on. The person who told the other person. Okay, father. The person named Tom replied. That was the last thing I heard before passing out.